Man. Okay, man, we ready, yeah?
Alright.
Once I start recording, we are ready to go. Welcome to the Silverfox Hustle Podcast. I am your host Shasi, an educator, coach, and football commentator and pundit. Now, this is episode number 27, and it's time to speak to another guest. Now, before that, click on the follow and subscribe button and leave a comment about this pod wherever you are. Now, for the very first time on this podcast, we have a football official on the show, and it's really rare that we have someone from FAS, from the refereeing community in the show, because it's tough to get them down, number one, and it could lead to sensitive issues. But FAS has been great, they have been helpful, and here he is, one of the best referees here in Singapore at the present moment. Now, he has been a qualified referee since he was 16, and he was a class 3 referee then. Now, he was promoted to class 1 status within 3 years, and he officiated his first S-League match at the age of 19, way back in 2006. And in 2012, he was accredited as a FIFA referee. Now, since then, he has officiated at the AFC Cup, the Asian Champions League, the FIFA Under-17, the Under-20s World Cup, and AFC Asian Cup as well. Now, he was also part of the VAR official in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup 2017 in South Korea. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on. Now, presently, he is working as a senior referee executive involved in the development of referees in Singapore. Now, welcome to the Silverfox Hustle Podcast, Mr. Muhd Taqi Aljaafari. How are you, Mr. Taqi?
I'm good. Thank you, Shasi. I welcome you again.
Yep.
And also thanks for welcoming me
Yep.
to this podcast. Really much appreciate for this.
I think, like I said before, earlier on, I think it's tough, right, to get an official down. So thank you for coming down, taking time off. Now, let's start off, right, when you were a young boy, right? Now, did you play the game in school?
Yes, I do play football
Yep.
back in my school.
Yep.
But back then, when I was in secondary school, my school doesn't offer football.
What school is this?
It was Commonwealth Secondary
Right,
School.
right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the school doesn't offer football
Okay.
as a ECCA.
Right.
So back then, I think football was quite popular, but not popular in certain schools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we don't have an opportunity to play football to take up
Right.
as the CCA.
Yep.
So I do alternative sports.
Okay.
So it's a bit totally different from football.
Like what? Like what?
So I was playing hockey.
Okay.
So I take up the hockey CCA.
Okay.
So I was for 5 years. I was playing hockey in secondary school.
Secondary school. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the B division and the C division, and eventually managed to captain the team as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So in primary school as well, they didn't offer football. Your school.
Yes,
primary
I
school?
was from Bukit View Primary School. So
And-
there wasn't any
Ah.
football also back then. So it's a bit weird how
Exactly.
I came up
Exactly.
to be involved with football. But it's interestingly, back then during my secondary school days and
Yeah.
even my primary school days,
Yeah.
I was playing football. In the void deck session.
Okay.
They call it in Malay term bawah block, or
Okay,
outside the school
okay.
basketball court.
I know that because I do that as well. Or I did that before as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you didn't play football for school. You played socially outside, like at the void decks, and obviously during your free time, right?
Yes.
Or maybe at the weekend as well. Now that's interesting, right? So were you in the like an age group team for hockey as well?
Yeah, so I was in fact went for national selections
Nice.
in for hockey.
Okay.
When I was about 14 or 15, so I
Okay.
went for their selection trials
Right.
and was part of the training.
Okay.
So I went in for the few sessions, but after that I pulled out from the national hockey training sessions because it was too tough. As
Really?
in
Okay.
the regular training sessions per
Okay.
week was a bit too tough for me,
Right.
and to keep up with the tempo of the training session
Okay.
and also the regularity of the training session.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I understand that. Now, earlier on, right? What was it in your character? Like even as a young boy, right? Did you think that you were you were what kind of a character were you? Were you a leader? Did you think that you were a leader? How did this thing come about? The refereeing part.
I'm really surprised when I'm not sure how I myself to be at this level right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but interestingly, back then when primary school, I think people know me. I'm like a shy guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a shy guy. So I'm a little bit. I'm always optimistic for sure.
Right,
Right.
right.
Optimistic, but I'm a little bit towards myself,
Right.
being myself.
Introvert. You're an introvert. Yes,
Yeah,
okay.
introvert. But I think with the mingle of friends, with the circle of friends that I
Yeah,
had, especially in my secondary school,
Okay.
all right, it bring me out from what I am, bring me out of the
Okay.
box. Yeah.
Okay.
So get me out of the comfort zone.
Okay.
All right, especially with my colleagues from the friends from the hockey squads. All right,
Okay.
because not only we play hockey, but we play football. In fact, these friends are really, really great friends where they in fact have went trials for the football team
Okay.
back then, under 14, under
Right.
16. Even
Right.
in fact, I also went for trials
Okay.
back then with back then we called it Clementi Kalsa.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Which year was this?
this was I was the age of 15. So 2001 or 2000, in the year 2000 or 2000.
Interesting.
Yes.
I was there. I was playing there in 1999 to 2001. Right. Okay.
Yes,
Interesting.
and I think I still remember when you were still coaching, I was still refereeing at
Yes.
the
Yes.
S League.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I was that kind of person, you know.
Okay.
But it when came to my youth, when I was in secondary school, it really brings me out
Right.
from the what do you call this, from what I am being introvert.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
To bring my real self out.
Nice.
Yeah. So. Especially in secondary school where I take up hockey, I was being appointed as the captain for the team.
Okay.
All right, so went through some leadership courses and
Okay. Nice.
back in the secondary.
Nice,
So
nice.
that's where the leadership
Okay.
to become a leader, to initiate something, to guide the team
Okay.
develops in me gradually.
Right. Now, growing up, do you watch lots of football? Did you watch lots of the S League as well? I'm sure you did.
Yes, definitely.
Who did you support
Back then.
back then? Not now. I'm not going to ask you now. Back then.
Yeah, back then I was supporting Jurong FC.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
because
you have
I
nothing. So you have nothing to worry because they're not playing in the league anymore. So you going? Did you live in the east?
Yes,
west side?
I was living in the west side.
Okay.
So I was living in Jurong East.
Okay.
So I goes to Jurong East Stadium regularly.
Okay.
And back then the stadium are fully packed, especially
Exactly.
on the stands.
Exactly.
And you have players like Sundramuthi playing,
Okay.
really catch the crowds. And the attention of the referee wasn't that much, at back then.
Of course, you were only interested in the game, right?
Yes, playing, focusing on the
Yeah.
players, on the
Right.
style of football and so on.
Right. While watching the game and stuff did you ever, like you said, you didn't really notice the referees, right? Did you once in a while, maybe you think, okay, why did the referee do this? How did the interest in the refereeing part come about?
Okay, let me share you this story.
Right,
Very, very interesting. All right, so when I was back then 14, 15 years old, all right, so I have these close buddies of mine.
Okay.
In secondary school, they are
Okay.
my schoolmates.
Yeah.
So these two of my friends who are in the one of it was in the same class, and the other one was 1 year senior than me.
Okay.
So they have their fathers and brothers
Okay.
are referees.
Okay.
Interestingly, they are referees.
Okay.
So their fathers has been officiating in the not in the top league.
Okay.
One of it was officiating the top league.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one was probably in the National Football League level,
The Division
and so
ones
on,
and okay.
2s and 3s.
Yes.
So, but they are almost to the retirement age or left the refereeing fraternity. So their sons has been following and their brothers have been following them.
Okay.
And going for matches and so on. So one day, both of them was pressured by their brothers and their father to take up the course.
Okay.
All right, so to take up the course, and I was like, if you can't believe it, that I'm just like a little small guy, at the age of 15 years old, 14 years old, really small than compared to the two of them.
You mean in terms of the size as well?
Yes, physically timid, small,
Right.
Yeah, so I think maybe my development stage
Okay.
was a bit lower, a bit slower. Yeah, so they went for the course,
Okay.
they took up the course, the refereeing course, and they wanted me to go.
Right.
So I totally don't have a footballing background,
Okay.
but because I play football regularly with
Okay.
them, I can say, because they love playing football
Yeah.
with me, quite decent lah, I can say. Not
Okay.
say I'm boasting or
Yeah,
what.
yeah.
Quite decent. So that's where it starts. So they tell me, come, take up the course. Initially I avoided it. I say, oh no, I'm not interested,
Yeah.
15 years old.
Yes.
Coming,
And they were also the same age, right?
yeah, they were 1 year young. One was the same age.
Right.
The other one was 1 year older than me.
Okay.
So 15 plus coming
Yeah.
16.
Yeah.
So at that age, nobody thinks about refereeing.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
So we are interested to play football, and we wanted to play, to enjoy football.
Yeah.
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 So, okay, I just from there I just took out the course. I signed up the course with them with the intention of, okay, I'm playing football.
Yeah.
I want to learn the laws. All right.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yes.
Learn the laws, and from there maybe I can get some knowledge and apply it on my football.
Now, let me ask you this first before we go on.
Yeah.
Your friend, there are two friends, right? Where are they now? As in, have they carried on?
Interestingly, they are no more in the refereeing fraternity.
But they were for a while?
They were for a while.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So the growing stage was such that
can you mention names or you can't?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
So
who are
one
they?
of them was Zainal Arifin,
Okay.
and the other one was Falik Rais.
Right.
The father Rais was also a former referee
Okay.
back in FAS.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were close buddies. So this is where my journey really started.
I see.
So actually, they were so-called my teachers in refereeing because they have experiences from
their
their
parents,
parents
yeah.
and from their brothers,
Okay.
And in fact, they go down for matches to
Okay.
see their brothers and fathers to do the game. So probably they might have some experiences also officiating,
Yeah.
like small-sided matches,
Correct.
So that's where it started. And when this journey continues,
Yeah.
it was them who excelled further than me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was laid back or little bit left behind.
Okay.
So I was in fact in the first, when we entry level as a referee, was class 3. I
Okay.
was in fact remaining there for almost coming 3 years.
And they
Yeah.
got up faster.
Yes, so they were up in the class.
But I think it's fair. It's probably because they had the more interest then, because they signed up for it, right?
Correct.
They got you in,
Yeah.
and then probably you were like thinking, you were still thinking, right?
Yeah, it makes sense, because they wanted for it.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
They sign up for the course. They are more
Yeah.
knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And I'm in the learning process
Right.
together with them.
Yeah.
In terms of match experiences or match officiating,
Yeah.
that they had, they even do well in their matches. So obviously by assessments
Yeah.
and by the assessors that observe their matches, they are
Yeah.
able to progress faster than me.
You are still obviously in contact with them, right?
Yes,
What's
of
the name
course.
again? Sorry.
Falik and
Falik and
Zainal Arifin.
Falik and Zana Arifin. I think you got to thank them, right?
Yes, of course.
Because that was the start.
Sure.
Absolutely brilliant. It's a wonderful story, really, right? It's wonderful. Now, your first course, that was the course that you took. That was in 2002 as a 16-year-old, right?
Yes.
Now, what did the course entail? What was in the course? How did it like was it theory? Was it practical sessions? What was it like?
Right. So the course back then was held in Kallang Stadium.
Okay.
The old Kallang
The
Stadium.
National Stadium.
National Stadium.
Nice.
Yes. So our tests were conducted in the track.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But the sessions back then was in the evening session. So
Okay.
referee's basic course consists of 1 week, but it was in the evening session
Okay.
from probably about 6:30
Okay.
to 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically all the evening sessions were theoretical.
All right.
So we are learning directly from the video analysis
Okay.
and also from the laws of the game.
Right.
On the laws totally, in total, when you join refereeing, you'll know that there are 17 laws in the game.
So it was a total of 1 week for the
Correct.
class 3, 1 week.
Yes.
And it's always in the evenings, right?
Always in the evening.
Uh-huh.
And when it comes to the practical
Okay.
session, which is a fitness session,
Right.
so first is theoretical.
Right.
Once you complete your theoretical,
You have to pass that, obviously.
yes.
Okay.
So
And
you'll
then,
sit in for the exams.
right.
Subsequently, you'll do the physical fitness.
Okay.
Test.
It's a test.
Yeah, it's a test.
Okay.
All right. So you see the test back then, since I refereed in 2002 until today,
Yeah.
there has been 3 different kind of tests.
This is only for class 3 or is it the same for everything?
The sequence is applied for class 3, class 2 and class 1. The
Okay.
test is the same, but the time to cover up the
Ah,
distance that is
understand.
required is lesser.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you said there were changes.
Yes.
Okay.
So back then, the test we called it the Cooper test.
Right.
So
12
Cooper
minutes.
test, 12 minutes run.
Okay.
12 minutes run, you have to complete based on your grade or your class category,
Yeah.
whether 2.8 kilometer or 3 kilometer,
Okay.
2.7, 2.6. I think at class 3, you only need to complete 2.6 kilometer.
So you had the theory test done,
Yeah.
and then you had the physical test
Correct.
done. Did you pass that easily, both tests at class 3? I mean.
I think that is not an issue for us because I
Ah.
think we are students.
Okay.
Right. Of course, we are the youngest among the cohort for
Okay.
that class, and we are able to to digest
Pretty
information. Yeah, pretty
Okay.
easy, and
Nice.
it's not that difficult. for if you take up this course, because
were there failures?
There wasn't any failures in the theoretical.
Okay.
But in terms of practical, physical fitness, there is, maybe because people are not aware of the requirements for the physical fitness.
Were you all the so-called youngest one at that time? At that time?
Yes, at that time we were the youngest, and I think the eye was on us because from what I know back then, there wasn't any young referees who wanted to come up and take up the course.
Okay.
You know, back then 2000, 2002, mostly about mid-20s, late 20s or mid-30s taking up this refereeing course. And coming from a background of secondary school, these three musketeers from out of nowhere coming to take the referee's course.
It's interesting, right? Now in that course, obviously you three were the youngest, and then you had the participants. I'm talking about participants, right? The slightly older ones. The slightly older ones, are they still around? Do you any one of them at that time who took the course in class 3?
Okay.
Are there any one of them still around, as in officiating?
Interestingly, one of my batchmate, no. I think there's nobody left from my batch.
How about instructors?
Instructors, yes.
Like who?
Yes. So we have instructors, because instructors back then they are in fact some of the instructors are like they are international referee, they are FIFA referees,
yes.
but at the same time they are instructing the younger referees.
Right.
So we have like instructors like Ali Samad, Agustin Orlando. They are still refereeing back then, but at the same time they are educating the referees.
Right.
But now they have retired and they are just
Nice.
Instructing the referees.
Nice. Okay, after the course, right, you passed, obviously, the theory, the Cooper test, which could be a killer for some, right? How did you feel? I've passed this, and like you said, your friends went on a little bit quicker than you did. Along the way, did you decide that, okay, maybe this could be fun, this could be something that I would want to do later on? Did you feel that, or you still feel, I'm just being forced here, and you know?
That's right. What you mentioned. So I was still feel being forced. So I was just after the test. In fact, I was just going through motion.
Okay.
All right. Because after we did the theoretical test, the practical fitness test, then we did the practical test, practical assessment. So we are given a match.
You have that as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So we the last criteria, we are given a match, and you have to officiate as a referee immediately. You know, coming to a game where you have no experience in officiating.
What kind of a game is this?
Like, it's a friendly game.
And organized by.
It's organized by. It's a social friendly game.
Okay.
But it's engaged from the FAS referees. So they use this match as an assessment match for the referees who are in the course.
That is difficult actually.
Yes, because
it's worse.
Yes.
There could be fights in social games. Correct. Right. Okay.
So interestingly, this is part of the sessions that the referees have to go.
How many games did you have to?
So if the first game the referee assessor feels that you are good enough, or you are the standards are not that high.
Right.
So it's minimal standards that you have to meet. So if you can meet that standards, the referee assessor can pass you out, and you are considered qualified as a class 3 referee.
Yes. So how was your very first game? And what, still, 16 years old?
Yes, so so I still remember after that was my first game. So as an assessment, so during the assessment, all of the three of us in fact, we are take turns to do the matches. Means that in the first half, I'll do the assistant referee. The second half, the ones who will do the center. So we a bit nervous, but there was one of the senior referee down there. They are guiding us. So eventually we make it.
So you did make it as a right.
So subsequently we pass out. So my first game, I was given I still remember this game. I was given a match of a COE under 16. Right? COE under 16 as an assistant referee too. All right. So back then, communication is not like now.
Of course.
Right. We use a pager. All right. We use pager and by using the public phone or by home phone. We don't have mobile phone. So appointments are given. You have to get a pager, so the appointment secretary will page you, and you have to call back. And this is your match.
This is
blah,
troublesome.
blah. Yes. So So it was a COE under 16. The game was at Northland Secondary School,
Okay.
and I was supposed to do assistant referee too.
Okay.
Alright, so the referee called me up, say I'll see you there,
Okay.
3 o'clock match.
Okay.
Be there about 2:30.
Yeah.
Alright, half an hour, we can get changed.
Okay.
I was late for the game, and the game had to kick off. You can imagine.
Wow. Wow.
But then, because I think one of the issues that I faced was I was traveling on public transport.
Okay.
I didn't anticipate the time.
Okay.
Alright. And I didn't know exactly where is the school.
Okay.
I'm just going through we don't have like clear GPS back then,
Yeah,
we are
yeah.
using street directory,
Yes.
literally open from the book.
Okay.
Yeah. So really interesting. I was late about almost 25 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what happened?
So the referee and the assistant referee one was officiating the game.
Okay.
So the assistant referee two was coming from one of the club officials.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they volunteered to do the game first. So
Ah.
after 25 minutes, I came in and officiated the game as the assistant referee too.
After the game, did anyone was there an assessor because it was your very first game anyway, right?
There
So-
wasn't any assessor, but the center man was very senior referee.
Okay.
Alright.
Who was he? Do you still remember?
I'm sure you know the referee was Abbas Daud.
Oh yes,
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 right?
very much
So
so.
he's like, I think, a brother to me.
Yeah.
Right. He's really
Yes.
and he's very helpful in the
Yes.
sense that he's always encouraging the referees, motivates the referees.
Yes.
You know, he's not the kind that you are late for the game and that's
Yeah.
it. Kill you and
Right.
that's it. You're finished.
That
from
could have
there.
happened, right? Because
that could
your
have happened.
first
Correct.
game as well.
Yes, and that could have happened.
Right.
But he was. I'm lucky to meet him on
Yes.
my first game,
Yes.
and it grows from there because
Okay.
I create that relationship with him from there.
Yes,
I'm
yes.
always keeping in contact and to progress.
Speaking of Abbas, right?
Yeah.
I know him. He has officiated in games that I played in as well.
True.
I tell you what, not because you said it, but seriously, I think he is one of the best in Singapore because I think he has this knack for speaking to the players as well.
Correct.
I think that is the most important. I mean, this is my opinion. And where is he, by the way?
I agree with you. He's one of the respected referees
Yes.
in our local context,
Right.
even by the players, by
Right.
club officials
Right.
and the team officials. He has retired
Okay.
from our refereeing fraternity.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm not sure particularly what is he doing, but he's totally not involved.
Is
with
he in
us.
Singapore?
He's still in Singapore.
Okay, right,
Yeah,
right,
but
okay.
I'm still in contact with him. But
Nice.
yeah, but he's not involved with our
Okay.
refereeing fraternity for now.
Great.
Yeah.
Send him my regards. Tell him I said hi. I
Sure.
think he knows me. Now, I think you talk about Abbas and guys like this. Now, did you look up to anyone as a mentor at that time? Especially coming up through the ranks, class 3 referee, doing COE games. Anyone that you look up to?
I think when I started refereeing at class 3, when I see my friends progress,
Mm.
right, it gives me something to ponder upon. Like, why am I being left behind and so on? Is it because of my physical ability, or is it because of my performances and so on? So I start to think about it.
Okay.
All right. So I start to take something seriously. All right.
Okay.
So it gradually comes in. So I do some research. Not say research like some kind of a homework. All right.
Yeah.
To see watching the more S-League matches.
Okay.
And so on. So to improve gradually.
Okay.
So, and when you see the matches back then, like in Jurong Stadium,
Yeah.
for S-League matches, the referees in the middle, I tell you, is really top notch or top quality.
Okay.
You know,
Name me a few.
We have I think back then we have top FIFA referees like Santon,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
SK Kennedy,
Right.
VJ,
Yes.
all right, Shamsul.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, Shamsul was there. So the level of the names that you hear,
Correct.
all right, it spark in your mind. Oh, this referee is,
Yeah.
this is his ability. This is his
Correct.
ability.
Correct.
All right, and as the years progress, and we have seen that referees like Shamsul, like Visva,
Yeah.
even Jeffrey Goh, who
Yeah.
has been to the World Cup,
Correct.
all right, and coming from a country like Singapore,
Yes.
all right, I really think that it is possible, right,
Okay.
for anybody who is keen or
Great.
is really desire to be there.
Great.
And even if not at the World Cup level, we have referees like Abdul Malik.
Yeah.
Back then was a FIFA referee, and he was respected not only in Asia, I mean in Singapore, but also in Asia, and went to big tournaments as well. Yeah.
Correct. Nice. You rose up the ranks within a few years to get your class 1, right? So from class 3, it's class 2,
Yep.
and then class 1. So how many years did you take to get to class 1?
So I was in the 2016. I was at the 16 years old. I was at the year 2002.
Right.
I was in class 3.
Correct.
So when I went to class 1, I was at the age of 19.
Okay.
Right. So
that was pretty fast.
yeah. So it happened was such that when I was in class 2,
Yeah.
we will have this group of identified or potential referees.
Okay.
All right, by the instructors.
Okay.
All right. So this group eventually we so-called had the double promotion.
Okay.
So on the same year, so from class 2 gradually,
Okay.
on the same year, mid-year we promoted to class 1.
So that's not normal, right?
Yeah, that's not normal. So this
Okay.
is probably special group by the identified by the instructors.
Who was in this group? You yourself?
Myself at the current moment,
Yeah.
the rest of the referees are not there.
How? Okay. At that time, who was in your group?
Myself, Andrew Key,
Okay.
Tan Teck Liam,
Right.
right? There be 5 of us. I think one more was Pandian,
Okay.
maybe Pandian, and
So you are like
can't remember.
the survivor of all these, you know.
yes, correct. I thinking back what I've gone through. I think I'm a last man standing.
Yes,
I can
exactly,
say.
like the Royal
Yeah.
Rumble in wrestling. You know, that's great. That is, it speaks volumes about the hard work that you've put in. You could have easily just quit and do something else, right?
True, because at the age of 19 and 20, nobody would want to referee at a S League with the senior players, experienced players who are in the mid 30s or mid 20s.
Yes.
Criticizing
Yes.
you,
Right.
and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, so you rose up to the ranks. Now you got to be good, basically. You have to. There's no. I mean, you can be humble and say no. I tried my best. And you have to be good to have a double promotion in for any profession, not only for refereeing, for any promotion. So congratulations to you. But what was the criteria in terms of like? How did you have to clock a number of games before you can do that? Do you have to clock a number of senior games? What did you have to do then?
So at every category, you have to clock a few matches of that category in
Right.
order for you to qualify for the next level.
Okay.
For an example, when you are a class 2 referee, at a minimum you have to officiate a Division 1 match.
Okay.
Division 1 match,
Yeah.
and there will be probably 2 or 3 matches, and these matches are assessed.
Okay.
And if you receive good credentials and good marks, and you can progress to the next level,
Okay.
which is class 1.
Okay.
So not only on the performances, but also on the physical fitness test,
Okay.
you have to meet the requirements for each level or each category are different.
Okay.
Right? For class 1 is different, class 2 is different, and FIFA referees are different as well.
So along the way, right? I mean, at first you said that your friends brought you into it, and then even after class 3, you got the accreditation at class 3. You said, I'm still. So at which point now you tell me that you thought, okay, this is it. Was it the promotion that got you thinking, oh, I think this is good, man. I'm being, there's recognition. Right? So at which point did
Yeah, that's right. Actually, in fact, when I was promoted to class 2,
Yeah.
and from that class 2, we are being identified as a group of potential referees for the next level.
Okay.
So I started to take this really more seriously,
Okay.
But this kind of refereeing passion develops for me, it develops when I progress further.
Yeah.
Right, it doesn't comes in when I come in as a class 3
Yeah.
and the passion for refereeing is there. No.
Correct.
Yeah, because as I do more matches,
Yeah.
I get to know more referees, get to know more players and the teams. Then the passion develop that I like this.
Okay.
I love this. I love football, but I want to contribute on the different aspect of football.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now let's talk about your very first S League game. Right. In which year was that? Do you know?
It was in year 2006.
2006, and you were a class.
I was class 1.
Class 1,
So
right.
for S-League matches,
You have
on
to
it you have to be Class 1 or beyond that.
So you were the center.
I was a centre man.
Okay, yeah, this is another question, right? You do obviously have specialization, meaning center or assistant referees, right? So
Yes.
who makes the choice? Do you choose? Do you say I want to be the center, or I'm just going to stick to AR? How does this work?
Obviously, as an individual,
Okay.
you have the right to choose.
Okay.
All right. Of course, you have to know your own capabilities.
Of
What
course.
are you? Which are you good at? Probably as an assistant referee or as a referee.
Yeah.
Some referees are really good at assistant referee.
Okay.
But when you give them the whistle
Yeah.
to officiate,
Yeah.
they will not
I
be
understand.
as good as that. But this specialization only comes towards when you're in the S League.
Okay.
All right. When you're in the S League, these instructors or maybe some referee committee members, they try to advise you,
Yes.
or even the department staff.
Okay.
All right. They will share with you that
Yeah. You
based
are.
on your assessment marks and your capability, I think you are better at the referee.
Okay.
Or I think you are better at the assistant referee.
I think like the different the different roles as in a referee and AR as well. You need different kind of personalities. Am I right to say that?
Yes.
Yeah?
More or less not so different, but
Okay.
more or less the same. But I
Okay.
think as a referee, you need to be showing much more strong personality.
Okay.
All right, because
Okay.
you are the man in the middle,
Okay.
and you need to. For me as a referee, you're the team captain of your team in every match. Right, whether a team of 3 or team of 4,
Okay.
you have to guide your assistant referees.
Okay.
Right.
Understand. Right. So your first S League game, what was it? Do you remember who played who?
I was at Bedok Stadium,
Gelang.
Gelang,
Okay.
and Balestier.
Gelang versus Balestier. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So I think all of them came down to watch the game.
Who's all of them?
All of them, as in back then it was Murti.
Okay.
Murti was
As in
there,
the referees department.
and
Okay.
even Shamsul was there. I think he was in the department
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
So to observe the match, and few of my refereeing colleagues and the referee assessors.
All right.
Right. The game was very intense.
Okay.
All right. Back then it's really physical.
Okay.
The players are much more physical and very aggressive.
Okay.
You know. So as a young referee, the tendency to give that yellow card is can't be avoided. I can give you anytime you want.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think that game I give about 8 or 9 yellow cards.
Seriously?
Yes,
Your first game?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Which, when you come to analyze back, it could have been saved by much more.
As in what?
Save
What do
the
you mean?
yellow card.
Oh, you could have
Yes.
saved it and not give more.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
So after the game, obviously there were the match referees assessor. Is that
Yes.
are they called? Okay. So did they actually speak to you about this? As in like maybe you should. But in terms of advice, was there?
Yes, definitely. So the referee assessor was saying that yes, you're a young referee.
Okay.
You know your emotions inside you may boils up in the game.
Okay.
That may result you to give more cards than managing the game.
Right.
Right. So this is part of learning process.
Okay.
Right. That of course the words of the referee assessors really kicks in to me. Alright, to how to progress further the next match. But overall, generally, I would say that it was a good match. I did fine, and I was away from the media for that.
Which is good for a referee.
Yes. So I
Yes.
wanted to be away from the media. I don't want to be
Right.
in the focus point. Focal point for that match. Yeah.
Nice. Now you were saying about this, right? I mean, as a young referee, referee officiating in your very first game, you're talking about the, being young, obviously dishing out the cards and all. From then till now, that's been 2006 till now, right? It's 14 years already, right? Have you seen the growth in yourself in terms of that part of it, the personality part? Have you seen a huge growth?
I'm very sure I see that.
Okay.
All right. Especially not only as a referee, but as an individual.
Nice.
Yeah, I think as an individual, refereeing actually changed part of my life.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
As a referee, I think one of the key things that you need to have is discipline and attitude.
Okay.
All right, and this plays a part not only throughout your refereeing life, but in your individual or your personal life.
Okay.
All right. So I'm kind of like organized person.
Okay.
All right, very very organized.
Okay.
All right. Like in terms of schedules and so on, like planning.
Yeah.
I like to be very precise. you know, what we're gonna do and so on. So that's my kind of personal life. But so in refereeing also it's the same.
Okay.
Right? What I expect from my team,
Okay.
you know, what I want from them. This is what I want from them. I have to be organized,
Right.
in the sense of that. Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So it's a way that it makes me grow.
Yeah,
Right. It
yeah.
makes me grow
Yeah.
to be a better person.
Okay.
Not only as a referee but also an individual.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, 2012, you were credited with the FIFA as a FIFA referee, right? 2012. That is
That's-
like 10 years. 10 years after your very first start, so to speak. Now, how was that? How did you feel?
I think that when I was in class 1,
Yeah.
alright, after my national service, I think that was the aim. That was my aim, to be an international referee. But there's the criteria to be an international
Yeah.
referee is 25 years old minimum.
Okay.
Yes, that is the FIFA criteria.
Okay.
So you have to be 25. Even if you are 20 years old and you have a lot of experience, you can't be an international referee. You have to wait until
Okay.
you're 25.
Okay.
So I was fortunate in the sense that I was gaining S-League experience.
Okay.
Right, locally. I was doing plenty of seasons from the age of 20 to 25 and gaining as much experiences as I can. And when the opportunity came at the age of 25, was nominated to be a FIFA referee.
Yeah.
So
So who gets to like okay? Let's say you reach 25. You've done all these games, right? So who says that okay, you are credited with a FIFA referee? How does this work?
So the organization, all right, which is referees department in
Okay.
the FS organization,
Okay.
all right, they will nominate the referees.
Ah.
All right, and these referees being nominated will be tabled out into the referees committee.
Okay.
Right. So this referees committee, based on the members and so on, they will decide.
Okay.
What, of course, there are listed criteria.
Of course.
Alright, there are listed
Yeah.
criteria, quantitative and qualitative criteria, and it will be depends on the decision. And once they are decided, then they will list these names or refer these names to FIFA for the registration.
Right, and then
Yeah.
FIFA makes the final, obviously,
Correct.
final call. So in that particular year, were you the only one from Singapore or a few others?
My batch, I can remember. All right. In 2012, there were three. We are talking about local context.
Yeah.
Three new FIFA referee.
Yeah.
All right. So, fortunately, or I don't know, unfortunately, I was one of the FIFA referee nominated, and the other one was my friend and now my working colleague, which is the FAS General Secretary Yazin Bahari. So we are in the same batch. Yeah.
Okay.
So really, it's really interesting to see how time flies and how things are going on. You know, on the different paths, and we meet at the same path, and
Correct.
you know.
So both of you got accredited as FIFA referees at the same time.
At the same time.
Wow.
And one more of us, assistant referee, Ronnie Ko, was nominated also as an assistant FIFA referee for that year. So basically, for that particular year, we have three new referees on the international list.
Right. Yazin, if you're listening, shout out to you. Well done to you as well. Like Taqi said, different paths. Well done. With that, right? I mean, obviously you have that FIFA accreditation. Came the opportunities, obviously, right? When you talk about all these opportunities, it's wonderful. As a referee, it's wonderful, right? You talk about the AFC Cup, you talk about the AFC Champions League, the Asian qualifiers, etc., etc. And I've done commentary on the AFC Cup, the AFC Champions League, the World Cup qualifiers which Singapore participated in. It's a different level. Even while commentating, I can just feel the different level in terms of the quality of play and what have you. So it must be a wonderful feeling for you, right? Now, how was the experience of doing all these top level matches, Taqi?
I think first thing first, I would like to share that as a FIFA referee, it doesn't mean that once we are accredited as a FIFA referee, we are able to do these matches, AFC matches, Champions League and AFC Cup, as you have mentioned earlier. So we have to go a stream of processes through the AFC panel.
Right.
Like we have to go through for recruitment, fitness test, and we have to be selected among that group of referees. You have to go through another process.
Yes.
Being selected from that group at the AFC level, then you are able to officiate in these matches.
Correct.
Yeah, so
How tough was that, by the way?
It was really tough in the sense that we have to go through seminar.
Okay.
All right, seminar for recruiting.
Okay.
And subsequently, we have to do 2 or 3 matches, and the recruiter will assess us.
Okay.
And these recruiter are international assessors.
Yes.
All right,
Yes.
and neutral assessors.
Yes.
And the grades will be reported back to AFC.
Okay.
Yeah, if you meet the cut, then you will be part of the panels of AFC referees.
Right.
And from there, that will be I think for local context as a FIFA referee, or even my colleagues or my buddies there, that will be the first step as a FIFA referee. Once we are the FIFA referee, the next target that we want to aim is to be part of the AFC panel of referees. Because once we are in the AFC panel of referees, or with so-called elite referees, you will be able to be among the referees who will be officiating in the AFC Cup, or AFC competitions.
So
generally.
there's a pool of referees that's already there, so you get yeah. So how was
so the experience is like it's unbelievable in the sense that you have been officiating year in year out, season by season in the local context, and when you come to these kind of matches, especially in the Champions League, when we go to the East region or West region, right, especially you go to let's say West region, you go to countries like Iran and Saudi, where the crowd are 100,000, 80,000. You know, the adrenaline rush in you know, to control yourself, you know, not to be nervous in front of the crowd. I think this is something that you don't get it every time, right? But you have to face it, right? You have to adapt to it, like as a referee, and you have to adapt to the sense that not only to the surroundings or atmosphere of the match, but also to the environment of the players. All right, you are handling 2 different sets of players, Team A and Team B, and from same region but different countries, different culture, and different approach that they have towards the referees. So in the sense of experience, for me, it was totally different between West region and East region. West region players are much more difficult to manage.
In the West side?
In the West side.
Why?
Because these players, you know, when you see players coming from the West region, usually from the Arab countries or from like Saudi,
basically the Middle Eastern teams.
So they try to pressurize the referee more,
you know, to influence decisions and stuff.
And the tendency for them to get fouled, you know, to influence you to give a foul is easy. You know, they will try to small contact, and they try to drop and to influence you to give a free kick or whatsoever, a penalty kick, just for that. But whereas in the East Asian side, and you have countries or players like from Japan, China, Australia, they are much more tough, and physically they are strong, right? So when they play football, and the kind of football they play, every decision that you make, they are well respected. There's no argument, not much of an argumentative between you and the players. All right, so they have much more respect of the referee's decision, and they play along with the whistle. And sometimes maybe 1 or 2 crucial decisions they will come over, but for the other regions, it is how you're going to manage your game, which can make or break lose that game. Right.
Interesting, very interesting. That was a very good insight, really. You know, I think you talked about the difference between the West Asian countries or West Asian players and the East. I think that's pretty true as well, right? When you watch the Japanese players, for example, you know, they just get on with it. You know, it's the culture as well.
Yes, correct.
That's a very, very good insight. Now, you won the S League Referee of the Year in 2014, right? Now, was that the one and only time, or did you win?
That was the one and only time in 2014 that I got the award.
How was the feeling like, being the Referee of the Year in Singapore?
I think the feeling is fantastic. You know, for me, when we got that, I mean, when myself being nominated and won the S League Referee of the Year, it reflects on the referees fraternity as a whole. All right. For me, it's just not myself. All right. It reflects to all the referees that was involved in that 2014 season of S League. Because this award is mainly for the S League referees. All right. So of course, being referees and with all our other buddies, we are having healthy competition. All right. We try not to, you know, have envy or among each
Is
other
there?
jealous. I'm sure there is among referees. It's normal.
Yeah,
It's
it's
normal.
normal,
All right, it's normal. Not only in refereeing fraternity, I think in your
Yes.
workplace and so on. It's normal when you see someone in your colleagues or your friends
True.
going forward faster than you.
Yeah.
But probably they will not portray to
Yeah.
it. But I think in general, whether it's a refereeing or in network, it's normal. But most important, I think, for us to move forward as an individual and also as a referee, is take it this competition healthily.
Yeah.
All right. What I can learn from them or what they can learn from me.
Yeah.
All right. It's going to be like a mutual.
Okay.
I'm sure not only they're going to learn from me, but I can learn something from them as well.
Correct.
All right. So, like you mentioned, the award was I think for me was the climax lah. Climax for
Especially thinking about 2002, right? Like it's like what 10, 12 years from the first time you stepped as a referee or went for the course, right? Being forced to be a referee, right?
Yep.
Or going for the course and then winning the referee of the year. That is a wonderful feeling, isn't it? I mean, I can't imagine it, right?
Yes, really fantastic and wonderful feeling. I think so. I mean, all this. You think back all the sacrifices,
Yeah.
the effort that you have put in.
Yeah.
Of course, you don't expect it,
Yeah.
but when you're given this opportunity or given this award, I think for me it's a bonus.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, who has won the most in terms of referee of the year? Do you know? Do you know by heart?
I can't recall. Probably maybe Shamsul or Abdul Malik.
Yeah.
Probably
Okay,
maybe three
I
or
mean,
four
I
times.
don't-
I can't recall.
Really,
as
3 or 4 times?
well. Yes.
What is the reason you haven't won? Personally, why haven't you won more than once? Is it okay? Wait. This is just being crazy, right? Like, do you think is it because you've done more overseas games?
Probably,
You're
probably.
way more.
Probably, I think that plays a part.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Probably
okay.
I'm more involved with matches overseas, and of
Okay.
course when you're being credited as a S-League referee of the year, there are certain criteria that you have to meet. Probably number of matches,
Of course,
and performances,
yes.
and so on. So probably I was involved more on the other matches
Okay.
outside of the overseas matches. So probably that was the reason behind it.
Well, I wish you good luck. Maybe in the future you'll win more for in the S League. But seriously, right? I think being overseas and officiating in bigger games, I think that it lifts you up further. Okay,
Sure.
so it doesn't matter, right? Now let's talk World Cup. Now you officiated obviously in the age group World Cup tournaments, right? Like the under-17s, the under-20s. Now, how was that experience? Now, especially you spoke about the East Asians, you talk about the West Asians. Now you're talking about the World Cup, but at an age group level. Is there any difference as well?
Definitely, I think especially in the under 20 tournament,
Yeah.
right? The players almost for me, from my experience, is almost towards the A team level.
The under-20s, right?
Players, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because the level of football that they play is almost the same as A team, and in fact, some of the players who played in the under 20 was already named in the national team.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
They are maybe 19, 20 years old, but they are already playing for the national team. But because their team qualifies for this under 20 tournament, they are part of the national team.
Do you
under 20.
any names? Do you can mention?
So I remember my first under FIFA tournament was in 2015.
Yeah.
So I was part of the refereeing panels under 20 World Cup. So that was an eye opener for me. It was the first FIFA competition I
Right.
attended. Really, the way that tournaments are organized,
Okay.
the way that players play football,
Yeah.
the way that approach that the referees have to take,
Yeah.
right, compared to other matches. And we have young players back then. I still remember we have players like Firmino.
Wow.
We have players like Gabriel Jesus.
Okay.
Right, so they were like the core Brazilian team in
Okay.
that tournament.
Okay.
And after that tournament, they went to the respective big clubs. So
Right.
in fact, this
Right.
tournament was
A stepping stone.
a stepping stone for them.
Mm.
Not only for them, for us, it will be also a stepping stone.
Of course,
Alright,
of course.
Yeah, so it depends on our, of course, performances and so on. But for the players, it's really a big stepping stone for them to move on up to their career in
Yes.
football.
Wow. It must be a wonderful experience, right? Looking at all these players, and then now you think, oh, these guys are at Liverpool.
Yeah,
These
so-
guys are at Man City, right?
Correct. So in fact, last year I was in Poland for the 2019. 2019 for the under 20 World Cup also.
Yeah.
So I was officiating one of the matches Norway, and
Yeah.
we have Erling Haaland.
Oh,
Haaland.
okay.
So he
okay.
was scoring. Remember 11 or 13-0 that match,
Wow.
and he was scoring 5 or 7 goals.
Even at that last okay.
For that match, and subsequently after this tournament, they signed for Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, and he's scoring goals for fun there as well in Dortmund.
Yes,
You know,
correct.
and for a young player, he's behaving or playing like like a matured player. Yeah, and what a feeling, right?
Yeah, so it's amazing to officiate, and at the same time you see top class or world class players on the field of play.
Do you like while officiating? No, this is a question I always wanted to ask a referee, right? While officiating, right? Do you like admire some of these players? As in, like, what the hell did he just do? You know, would you or did you?
Yeah. So sometimes I speak to myself, you know, I say amazing skills, man. These guys, have. You know, just speak to myself. But apparently now we have the ability to communicate with our assistant referees using the communication set. So in fact, all of us can hear each other.
Okay.
All right. So when we speak about the skills of the players, sometimes brilliant free kick, you know, what a goal. You know, when they scored the goal of free kick.
Right.
So we
so you actually say that as well.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, interesting.
Because we saw it live.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We witnessed it live.
Yes.
And for us, it's like amazing to be to see it live, not on TV but on the field of play, and be part of the game.
Listen, I can't imagine, right? I can't imagine me if I'm a referee and I'm refereeing and I'm officiating a game like for example Messi is playing or Ronaldo is playing. Like how do you do that, right? It's like, wow, you really got to be a professional.
Yeah, so we have to be professional. So even sometimes people say, you know, I've seen, not say I've seen, people do ask me, hey, last year we had the opportunity to officiate. The Brazilian team was here for the for the friendly game.
Yes,
so
yes.
Brazil was playing Senegal.
Yeah.
So you know, request came in. Can you take a signature from this player Neymar and so on? You know, I'll just say okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You know, professionalism. But of course, when you're in the tunnel and so on, you just say hi bye. But the aura that you feel from the place is amazing. But you're just being professional, not to have any.
Who is the biggest player that you've officiated? Neymar.
Neymar was there. Yeah, he officiated Neymar. We did for this match in Brazil.
Who else?
I have been to. I officiated in the Champions League. In the Chinese team.
Okay.
Chinese team. Yeah, we have Huck and Oscar in the team.
Right.
In fact, also some of the age players like 30 plus, they played. Like Diego Forlan was playing one of the Hong Kong team.
Okay.
Even in Japanese team.
Okay.
So I was part of even. And the east side, I went to Qatar. I was officiating with Xavi's team while he was still playing. Yes, Al-Sad. Yes, he was still playing.
So he was playing, and you officiated in that game.
Yes, he was playing.
Taqi, you should have told me earlier. I should have, you know, he's one of the best.
Yeah, one of the amazing players.
Wow.
If you see him on the field and the way he played, right, you will tell that this player, you know, he's from Barcelona and he's playing for Al-Sad, and you can see the quality that he have among all the players. Wow. That is amazing.
It's amazing, right? We'll leave it as like that, right? Now, let's talk a little bit about VAR, right? Now, you were part of the VAR match officials in 2017 in the FIFA Under-20 World Cup, right, in Korea.
Yes, correct.
So, how was that? How is the setup? Now, please explain, because you know we want to know, right? Because people listening at home, my friends and listeners who are listening in, how does this work actually?
So in 2017, it was like a pilot project for FIFA for this tournament, because there are a few pilot projects in the build up to the 2018 World Cup. So they wanted to test out whether this VAR would be usable or useful for the 2018 World Cup.
Okay.
So these few tournaments were like a trials.
Right.
So most of the referees, right, have basically no background of VAR. So we are just starting from scratch.
Okay.
And the process of learning this VAR was really something that for me it was eye opener.
Okay.
All right. Can be very stressful.
Okay.
Because it's totally different from being on the field of play.
Right.
All right. It's more on you're facing the TV, you know, the TV screens, and you're trying to adapt to not only your technical skills on understanding the laws of the game, but also on how to communicate with the referees and so on.
Okay, so how does this work? So you sit in the booth.
All right. So we sit in the VAR room. They call
Okay,
it video operation room.
Right.
So this is a VOR room. So we have the VAR.
Right.
So let's say I'm the VAR. I'll be sitting with the screen in front of me,
Yep.
and to my left,
Okay.
usually with the assistant VAR.
Okay.
All right. So in some competitions, they have three personnel. So
Okay.
one more will be the AVAR2.
Okay.
Another assistant will
Right.
be assisting us, and to the right of us or to the right of me usually will be the operator.
Okay.
So the operator will guide us.
Okay.
Right. What camera angles that we want when a
Okay.
situation happens.
Okay. Okay.
Right. So if we say, give me the camera 9 or camera 8 or camera 2.
So you make the call. You say,
Yes.
okay, I want this angle.
Correct.
Right.
So
okay.
I want the main camera. I want a tight camera.
Okay.
I want a camera behind the goal.
Okay.
Give me the offside camera.
Okay.
Give me the goal line camera.
Okay.
So it is something. These cameras is something that you need to know as a VR.
Okay.
So there are other things, other aspects of VR that doesn't apply in refereeing
Yes.
when you're on the
Yes,
field
of
of
course.
play. Yeah. So it's something that we have to adapt. All right. So I think this is going to be the future.
Of course.
Alright, yeah, and
Looks like it.
Yes, and referees by hook or by crook, you like it or not, you have to
Okay.
adapt to this.
Now, I think over the past few years since that you said in 2017, and I clearly remember it was used in the 2018 World Cup.
Correct.
Right? I think that was the first major tournament that it was used, and then obviously different countries apply it slightly differently, right? The
Correct.
different leagues, I mean, right? So this is the part that is quite amazing, right? Over the past few years. Now, at that very first World Cup in 2018, right? I think what happened in that World Cup was, to me, it was good. It started off well because something happens on the pitch, the referee gets to see it on the monitor, and he makes the final decision, right?
Correct.
Or the VAR will probably speak into the referee's earpiece if something happens, and then the referee looks at the monitor, and the referee can actually overrule the VAR if he wants to,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Is that the real scenario back in the 2018 World Cup?
Yes, so it's the same. So the process works like this. So the VR will only intervene for 4 circumstances.
Nice,
Alright.
okay.
If you know, I'll just elaborate it further.
Okay.
So which is one is for penalty area situation,
Okay,
penalty or no penalty situation, goal or no goal situation, for mistaken identity,
okay,
and direct red cards.
right. So this was at the World Cup, right?
Yes.
Correct.
Right. So this criteria or considerations
Hmm.
doesn't change back then until now.
Okay.
So the VR will only intervene where the principles of these 4 situations happen.
Okay.
Alright. If it's, let's say, second yellow card or the referee didn't give a yellow card, we will not intervene because
Okay.
this is out of the
Out
protocol.
of the 4.
Yes, out of the protocol.
But when you say goal or no goal, what does that
So
mean?
goal or no goal, we are talking about because when we have the VR set up,
Yeah.
the goal line technology may not be in place.
Okay.
Yeah, so if the assistant referee couldn't decide
Okay.
whether it's a goal or no goal situation,
Okay.
so the VR can intervene to decide whether it's a goal or no goal situation,
Right.
or even during a penalty kick.
Right.
Yeah, and so on and so forth, or
Alright.
kicks from penalty mark.
Understand.
Yeah.
Understand.
So when the process goes through, right, like for an example, I give you an example such that, okay, the referee awards a penalty kick.
Okay.
Okay, so the VR will check.
Alright.
Alright, and the VR check that based on the camera angles and so on, it wasn't a penalty kick. It was clear. The player simulated.
Okay.
So it was a clear simulation.
Yes.
So now the VR communicated with the referee.
Yes.
Right, and explained to him and recommend him on-field review.
Okay.
So that is where we call it the on-field review,
Correct.
where the referee will come
Yes.
to the screen
Yes.
and see what he have not seen.
Okay.
Alright, so when the VR provided him the angles and the
Yeah.
image or the video of that situation,
He makes the call.
he makes the call. So the VR is just there to recommend him,
Okay.
okay, this is what I see.
Okay.
The final decision is still by the referee.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
When the VAR speaks into the referee's earpiece, say,
Correct.
okay, I think you might want to look at this, right?
Yeah.
Can the referee say no straight away?
If the referee cannot say that unless
Unless?
what the VR explained is what he sees.
Okay.
Alright, if the VR explains that it's a handball, but the referee say I also see a handball.
Okay,
But
fair.
for me, the hand wasn't extending out.
Okay.
All right, and
Okay.
it was close to the body.
Okay.
And
I
you
understand.
know,
Understand.
so the VAR will check. Okay, I saw the handball also,
Okay.
but the hand was close and it was what as
Okay.
explained by the referee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but if the VR says something that the referee did not see, he has to go and check.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. This is good because at least this gets things out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay. We move forward a little bit.
All right.
Because I want to speak about the EPL right now.
Okay.
Because I know you watch it obviously, right?
Sure.
And there are so many things that's happening that people are getting confused, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through one by one. Some things that I picked out, right?
All right.
I think there is a rule change to the handball. Is that not rule change, but in situations where you can give a handball and what have you. So now, right, once it hits the ball, your hand hits the ball or the ball hits the hand, it doesn't matter. It's a handball in the penalty area. Is that it?
Nope. That's not as you mentioned.
Okay,
All right. So
okay.
okay, coming back to what I think you mentioned about EPL, I think they made some changes.
Yes.
All right. From the last season, if you have been
Yeah.
following up, the referee didn't go for the on-field review.
Yes.
If there was a situation,
Yes.
they just made by the decision by the communication
Yeah.
set through the VAR.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is something that we are not being taught for us because we are based on the FIFA and
Okay.
IFAB protocol. But from this season, they have been following that
Okay.
that protocol where
Yes.
the referee have to come to the screen and
Yes.
doing on-field review. So the rules of the handball doesn't change.
Okay.
I think it's the interpretation of
Okay.
the handball.
Okay.
Right. So the IFAB or FIFA has make it clear
Okay.
now that for handball situation, all right, especially for the attacker, all right, especially for the
Yeah.
attacker, whether it is accidental,
Okay.
all right, or non-accidental, all right, if the ball goes towards the goal is definitely going to be disallowed, whether accidental or non-accidental.
Okay.
For an example,
You're talking about the attacking
Attackers
player.
level, attacking
Fair
player,
enough.
yeah.
Okay. It doesn't
So,
matter whether it's
it's accidental or non-accidental.
Okay.
All right. So whether it's accidental and non-accidental, it's clear it's a handball. But
Yes.
people will say, oh, it's accidental. But fans, I think everybody football
Yes. Because you
will not accept a goal is scored by a hand,
Correct.
even though it's an accidental.
Right.
All right. So for the defending player side,
Yes.
all right. So the law doesn't change.
Okay.
It's the same
Right.
in the sense that if the defending player,
Yeah.
there's two types to it. All right.
Okay.
First is you're making your hand bigger or wider.
Okay.
All right. So if your hand is not in natural position,
Yeah.
if you're making your hand wider or bigger,
Yeah.
all right, then there is and the ball hits you, then that you're
Okay.
taking a risk and that's an offense.
Yeah.
All right. And so
So basically, the rule doesn't change, right? That's what you're saying, right?
yeah, the rule doesn't change, but the interpretation that probably that footballers or maybe pundits or
Okay.
whatsoever.
No, but seriously, Taqi, listen up.
Yeah.
I've watched games in the EPL this season, right? The ball hits the hand when the hand is in a natural, like for example, a running. You're running.
Understand.
Obviously, your hand has got to be slightly out because you're running, right?
Correct.
Because I saw one game. The ball hit his hand while he was running, right?
Yes.
And the penalty was given.
Yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is interpretation.
Yes, so it's about individual interpretation by the referee itself, right?
Right.
I'm not following all the handball
Yeah.
situation that in the EPL, but what I can say is generally for referees, whether I'm not saying in EPL, but in EPL generally or even for FIFA referees, us, right? We just follow the guidelines from the laws of the game.
Correct.
Alright, as long as the hand is away from the body, unnatural position, making the body
Yes,
bigger,
yes.
like that will be the considerations for us. So we try to tag along with that. But you know, since I refereeing back then, 2002 until now, handball is a very difficult topic.
Of course,
Yes. Right,
because
and-
it's based on interpretation, like you said.
Yes.
Okay, and how do you judge whether the hand is how far out?
True.
Is it natural position? How do you
Yes.
know it's natural or not
Correct.
natural, right?
So, but for referees, we have to know and we will know what is handball and what is not a handball. But
Okay.
I think moving forward, I think the laws of maybe from feedback from coaches or managers, this will keep changing and develops further
Yes.
for better understanding and interpretation.
Okay, another one that is really puts me off, right, is the offside one where I don't know about other leagues. I'm talking
Okay.
about the EPL, right?
All right.
when the ball is played, the play is offside.
Okay.
The play is offside, right? The AR doesn't put out his flag
Okay.
until the ball, I don't know, goes out. The ball, he shoots the ball to
Okay.
Rosette or somebody tackles or whatever, and then he puts out the flag.
All right.
That could be like 5 seconds, 10 seconds.
Understand.
You know? Okay.
Right.
So why?
Okay. So this is the protocol for referees
Okay.
with a VR setup in the game. This is the guidelines and protocol for referees
Okay.
as instructed by FIFA and IFAB.
If there's a VR.
If there's a VR setup.
Okay.
So what's the reason?
Okay.
Alright. So the reason is that when the ball is played and there's
Right.
an offside player,
Okay.
alright.
Okay.
So the referees must allow, or the assistant referees must put down the flag. We call it delay technique.
Okay.
Delay the flag
Okay.
to allow the attack to finish.
Okay.
Alright.
Why?
So whether it's resulted to goal or not,
Okay.
alright, it will come back to the offense. So let's say the goal is it resulted to goal. After the goal is scored, the referee puts up the flag.
Okay.
If the ball goes out for goal kick, the referee puts up the flag.
Okay.
It will come back to offside.
Okay.
The reason being, because if it resulted to goal,
Okay.
alright, and it wasn't an offside, the goal can be allowed. And it allows the VR to do a check.
I see.
If you kill the offside at that moment when
Okay.
the ball was kicked
Okay.
and the offside player was in offside position and the AR raised up the flag,
Okay.
right, and the attack is done and finished,
Right.
alright, and if let's say the player is not in offside position, you kill a one good attack,
I see.
you know.
I see.
So that's the reason behind it, so that to let the game flow. But the advice for the assistant referee is that you only keep it with you only intervene, or let's say delay the flag for close calls. We are talking about close calls of offside situations.
Right.
We are not talking about 3-4 meters where you can put one
Right.
bars or one block of flats.
Okay.
You know, it's clear
Okay.
clear by the eye. Even you don't need the
Okay.
VR to decide on that.
So
yeah.
so just let me clear it, right? So to summarize, right, this delayed technique is only used when there is a VAR, right? There is a VAR because you need that little bit of time if it ends up in a goal.
Yes. So this goal or no goal is
Okay.
part of the protocol. So it allows the VR to check.
Right.
All right. So that's the reason when some of us will not understand.
But
yeah.
you do realize, right? As a player and as a manager and as even a goalkeeper, you know, it's damn frustrating. It is very
Correct.
very frustrating. And actually, you know what? Okay, I'm just being again crazy, right? It could lead to injuries.
True.
You,
Yep.
you know what I mean, right? Like okay, let's say if the linesman put up his flag straight away because it's an offside, game is stopped there and then free kick. But if he lets the play go on and then there's a clash between a player because he wants to score,
Yes.
you know, that could end up in injury. So that's me again, right? I'm
Correct.
just giving
Yeah.
an
So
example.
that is one of the risks that
Yeah.
is going to be that's going to happen. But
Right.
for now, there's the kind of protocol. There's
Understand.
But if you look at it, it's also it makes sense for referees and for football.
Yeah.
Because if let's say the offside is really tight,
Yeah.
all right, it's really tight, about 1 or 2 meters or even centimeters, and if the assistant referee kill that moment
And
at the
it's
moment
not offside.
and it's not offside,
Okay.
you know,
Understand.
and the ball entered the goal,
Yeah.
you know, then it just
But now you know you do realize that all assistant referee just to play safe, right? They don't put
No,
up.
no.
No, seriously, they don't put up. Even if it's not very far off, they just relax first. No, seriously, right? So that they don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now we move on. I think that was a really good chat about VAR, right? Now let's get up close and personal with you, right? Now, what is your refereeing style? Do you think, in your opinion, right? Your own refereeing style. Are you a communicator? Are you the more quiet sort, or are you? Nah, you can't speak to me.
I'm the kind like as I developed to from a young referee, right, to more in the international scene.
Yeah.
My style of refereeing differ.
Okay.
So now I like to engage more with the players. I
Okay.
like to communicate more with the players. Even locally or
Yeah.
internationally, that's my style.
Yeah.
All right. I feel that when I speak or engage to them, I mean the players when necessary, is something that I respect the 22 players on the field of play.
Yeah.
So communication is the key tool for me to manage the game, because especially when we study about players, all right, we study about 1-2 players, key players in the team,
Okay.
like who can make the difference, who can make the difference in terms of scoring a goal or creating a goal chance, or players who can kill you as a referee. Like this player can be aggressive, and the next moment he can just approach you, and the game can just go haywire at one point in time. So to identify these kind of players, right, before the game, and I like to communicate even sometimes in the tunnel, in the tunnel, just to create that close up that barrier between the referee and the player. All right. At the end of the day, for me, yes, I respect the players. All right. And for me to get back that respect, I need to earn it.
Of course.
All right. I'm not going to force the players to respect me. If they don't want to respect me, it's okay. But I need to earn that respect as a referee from my actions, from my decisions, from my approach to the players, which can feel that okay, players they are comfortable with the referee. Because I think at this current moment, players are very, very smart. They study the referee.
Of course.
They study the referee even before the game. All right, even in whether locally or internationally. They'll say who's the referee for the game. They know this style of referee and blah blah blah.
True, very true. And I think what you're doing is great. I think now I'm just giving you an opinion because I was a player before and I was a manager as well, not manager, coach as well, right? So nothing. It is the best actually if you have a referee who speaks to you.
Correct.
Even before the game or during the game, you have some referees who speak to you. Okay, watch that tackle. It's like actually advising you on the pitch.
Yes.
I do have when I was playing, I did have some. What's his name? Subhash, is it?
Subhash Laza.
Yeah, Subhash Laza. One of the best referees because he speaks to you throughout the game, and he doesn't speak to you like he speaks to you because he's actually advising you, hey, watch that tackle because another one, you're gonna get a yellow card. And it's a very nice touch. But at the same time, very you know that he means business as well.
True.
And Abbas was one of them as well. So these guys are great, and it's good that you are actually doing that as well, speaking to the players and stuff like that. Well done, great job. VAR, if you could just go back for a short moment, right? My opinion is it is a good tool to assist. My opinion. But to me, the referee should always make the final call. What is your opinion on that?
My opinion is yes, the VAR is there to help the referee. All right. At the end of the day, the referee is still the man in the middle. He make the final decision. So, to think in a positive note, as a referee, when you're officiating in a VR match, the VR is like a lifeline or like a parachute for you.
Okay.
All right. Because without the VR, for an example, we're talking about, let's say, a serious foul play that the referee missed. Right. And after the game, they are mentioning in the media and so on, the referee missed a red card. Right. And your career as a referee might just gone by just like that. Right. But with a VR, like these kind of incidences, let's say direct red card, which could have finished the player's career, all right, and by you missing that incident, with the VR coming in to safeguard you, like a parachute for you, you could have turned that decision to make the correct decision.
Correct.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, the decision is still made by the referee. Yes, but with the VR just there to assist on that particular decision.
Right. Just a short one, right? Any plans for Singapore? Do you know?
I'm not pretty sure on that, but looking at what's happening around the world, and even in our region, particularly in Southeast Asia, I believe this VR is a tool that will move forward. I think I'm sure this will be part of the plan and part of the pipeline moving forward for us locally.
Nice.
And I'm sure coaches or even the football stakeholders, they are much, they have been watching it on the TV and so on. I'm sure they would like to experience it one day as well.
Nice. Now, of all the matches you have officiated, right? Any matches that you are proud of doing, like you thought, wow, this game I really did well, and and one of the best games that I officiated in. Do you have any?
Yes, there is. In fact, there's a couple or plenty of it.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think the recent one was one of the most amazing, not say amazing and very, very enlightening for me. Enlightening match for me.
Okay.
It was in the recent West Region ACL tournament that I was. and I was and then my team was officiating the semi-final between Persepolis and
This was the recent one, right?
the recent one.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a very sensitive match.
Okay.
Right, it was a very very sensitive match
Okay.
because of the nature of the two teams.
Yes.
Right, and coming from a team like Persepolis is an Iranian team,
Yes. Yes.
and An-Nassr a Saudi team,
Yes.
and politically they are not in a good terms.
Yes.
Right, so even though it's outside the field of play,
Yeah.
but when it comes to field of play, you can feel that the enmity between the players,
The
the
tension.
tension between the players.
Okay.
All right, they are playing more like for the country, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not just for the club, but for the country itself.
Okay.
All right, so this translate into their aggressiveness of play.
Okay.
All right, then when this happens, the referee have to
Yes.
manage it. And
Yes.
so this is one, I felt that was one of the toughest matches that I did.
Okay.
Toughest matches, but I think it was also one of the good matches
Nice.
that I did because it extended to the extra time
Okay.
and
Okay.
subsequently to the kick from penalty mark until the eventual winner was the Persepolis team.
Kudos to
Yeah.
you. Well done. Well done, Taqi.
Thanks.
Any match that you thought you didn't perform, like maybe I had an off day, for example.
I think for referees there is for sure there
Okay.
is, right. Even back then when I was in class 3 or even class 2 or one off, or even in the S League back then, I do have matches where it was an off day. All right. Really things doesn't goes well on the match. Like decision making was terrible.
Okay.
Sanctioning in terms of maybe you miss giving a yellow
Okay.
card, giving a red
Okay.
card, or but I think some matches I can quote one or two matches where it affect or influence the results of the game.
Okay.
That was really for an example, one of my match I didn't give a penalty,
Okay.
and the
Okay.
score was 1-1,
Okay.
and with that penalty it could have been 2-1.
I see. I
All right,
see.
and the teams, the teams that didn't get the penalty, they felt they are being hurt by this
Yes.
decision.
Yes.
And you know, when we go for international matches, when this happen, the next day the media, the tabloid,
Yeah.
will say the referee makes it.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's the lowest moment of
Understand.
me as a referee.
Yes.
All right, that's why I tried as much. I try my best as much for for matches that try to avoid the media or try to avoid the papers,
Yeah.
especially after the game. But back then 10 years ago and now,
Yeah.
social media is everywhere.
So how do you recover then? Like how do you try to recover from?
There's a few ways to recover,
Okay.
right, from this kind of episode.
Yeah.
Right. First, for me, that is to forget about the match.
Okay.
Don't keep it in your mind.
Yeah.
All right. Do something else.
Okay.
Do other sports.
Okay.
All right. Take away from football.
Mhm.
All right. Don't officiate the matches for the next few 1-2 weeks. Take a rest.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have the
We have the liberty to do that.
Okay.
Yes. Even though let's say touch wood today, I felt that I wasn't having
Okay.
a good game,
Okay.
and next day I was really feeling down,
Okay.
and I have a subsequent match in the coming week. I can politely return back the
Okay.
matches,
Okay.
and say that was
That's
the
fair.
reason. Yeah, it's fair. So sometimes it's not just about the matches, about your readiness or your preparedness
Yes.
to be
Yes.
in the match.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes you're not ready and you're just going there for the sake of officiating. I think that is not professional.
Good.
Because you have to be fair as a referee. I think I always put this in my principle. I'm there to officiate, but I have to be fair to both teams.
Nice.
All right, they
Nice.
are there to play the game, and I have to be fair at my top level,
Yeah.
or my at most. I may not be perfect, but at my best level, to be fair to both teams.
Great. The best player you have seen while officiating, best ever. Like you remember I asked you, did you even just look at the players and just be amazed by what they can do. The best player that you have officiated in.
I think I would go for Xavi.
Xavi.
For international scene, I would
Yeah.
go for Xavi.
How about any local players?
Local players, I would say local players. There's a couple of
Okay.
it, but I think I would like to. I think the most that really caught my eye, I think, would be in terms of overall.
Yeah,
overall,
yeah.
I think it would be Haris.
Haris Harun.
Haris Harun. I
Why?
think for me, I have officiated in his matches, plenty of matches.
Okay.
But he's a player that technical ability, he's very good.
Okay.
All right, and the way he approached the game.
Okay.
All right, off the field, I know I can't talk much about it, but on the field, the way he approached the game, the way he approached the referee,
Okay.
all right, is really professionalism.
Okay.
In the sense that
Okay.
yes, the referee do make mistakes. All right, sometimes he's the leader of the team, but he come in he approached the referee in a more like not in non-aggressive manner.
Okay.
He knows what to face the referee. He knows what is the referee facing. You know the pressure that referee is facing, but he didn't add it to it. Yeah.
True.
So I felt he was one of the good players, and I grew up with him. I can say, all right, from Lion City, Lion City Cup when he was playing for I think Sundram's team back then, and to the under-23 and so on and so forth till today.
Shout out to you, Haris, if you're listening in to this podcast. Your future plans, Taqi. World Cup, the big one, the big one.
I think as a referee, when you are at this international level, that would be the ideal dream, right? There's a dream for every referee to be in the World Cup. But like as you know, I think the competition for World Cup, even for teams, are really competitive. What more for referees? But as you can see, the past 10, 15 years, we have seen referees from our country being in the World Cup, officiating at this big stage, and I don't see that this will be a barrier for us. Not only for myself, even for the future generations of referees who aims or to be in the World Cup one fine day. And if you look at it, we are also in the pipeline for the 2034 World Cup. For the teams, I think not only for the teams, we should look forward to. I think for referees or the younger referees, the younger generation, they can aim for that also. Right, for 2034, and we have, why not, if we have one team and one group or one trio of referees from Singapore to be at the world big stage.
Good luck for that, because I think you have a very, very good chance. You know, obviously you've performed well in the AFCs and what have you, right? So good luck for that, Taqi. I wish you personally all the best for that. You know, and listen, I'll be very frank and very direct. I don't beat around the bush, right? Because I feel that the referees are capable of reaching the World Cup, not like our players. The chance is far bigger to reach the World Cup as a referee than as a player, right? So good luck for that. Now, any advice for budding referees who wants to be a referee firstly, maybe by mistake again, or you know, any advice for them who wants to go up the ladder, climb the ladder, become a FIFA referee, and then obviously reach the World Cup? Any advice for these guys, especially the younger ones coming up?
Yes, definitely. I think refereeing is something that is on the other side of football, which not many would like to take this path. But believe me, when you come on board, when you're on this path, you will learn the different aspects of football. All right. If you still want to be part of contribution, you still want to be contributing to football, I think this is the path that you can look into, all right, for the younger referees, because I've seen in my career that we have retired players who have come on board with us, and we have even younger referees at the age of 19, 20, coming up the ranks from class 3 and so on. So I'm not saying that you know, they have to be like me. That is an overstatement, you know, a bit exaggerating, but they should dream further. Right. Probably yes, you can use the senior referees as the target or the idols, or you know, role models for that. But at the end of the day, the path for the referees, you know, is very wide. Everybody has a clean opportunity to be at the top one fine day. All right. Not only in the local level, but obviously in the Asian level. All right. We are talking within the Asian Football Confederation. We try to aim for that at that level. And for the past few years, we have seen many referees from FIFA, from Singapore, FIFA Singapore referees, that we have excelled at the AFC level, and I hope this will continue. All right, even after our generations, or even one fine day after this batch of referees who is currently on the FIFA list retires and we have a new batch comes in. We want
the
this
pipeline, right? The factory.
Correct. We want this to continue, and like I said, we should aim far, like aim for the moon.
Yeah, of course.
But even if we reach the sky, all right, we can still be proud of what we have achieved, because even if we are at that level, I'm sure we have achieved certain milestones which we have never achieved before. And obviously, not only as a referee, I think nowadays, if this modern football, all right, it is very challenging. Referees needs to be in a package, all right, on the field of play, right, and off the field of play,
right.
All right, try to be humble, to be modest, not only on the field but off the field, because this will build up your character, your personality, your character and personality as an individual, but also moreover as a referee.
Nice. That was a beautiful piece of advice there for Taqi, for referees coming up. Now, before we leave, right, I got to say this. I want to say this at the beginning, but I'll say this now.
All right.
Who would want to be a referee? Because I wouldn't want to be a referee. No, seriously. Because, being a player before, being a coach before, seriously, I wouldn't want to be a referee because it is a thankless job, And so, with that, I got to say, you guys have been doing a good job. Obviously, mistakes are there. You can perform the best. You can make mistakes, but that's human. Right, that's human nature. We make mistakes. So I would like to say this. Thank you very much for being on the Silverfox Hustle podcast. I really appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah, and really good luck for the future. And I really hope that you reach your goal of the World Cup, the big one, right? The big one sooner than later, right? Now, that was, at present, arguably Singapore's #1 referee, Muhd Taqi, sharing his experiences and also giving us an insight into the world of football officiating. Now, there were some personal burning questions that were answered, and of course some sensitive questions that were left unanswered, but understandably so. I would like to thank Taqi and of course the FAS for giving me the opportunity to have this conversation with him. It's time to go. Now remember to follow and subscribe to this podcast and also leave your comments so that I can hear from you. Now till the next time, the hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.